Good morning. Day 86 of hiking the Appalachian Trail in 100 days. I almost lost another item this morning. I had my socks hanging up on some nails at the shelter to dry overnight, and I started hiking. Got a few minutes down the trail and was thinking, man, this fresh pair of socks I have on feels nice. And then I was like, oh shoot, I forgot the socks at the shelter. So it was less than a quarter mile back to the shelter. I think it was more like an eighth of a mile. So it wasn't too bad. I just dropped my pack there and walked back and got the socks. And also when I was walking back, I passed this guy who was hiking, and he said, well, first of all, he said he saw a bear like 300 yards before he got to the shelter. And then also he said he was hiking out to check on his deer stand, and I don't really know what you need to check on. Maybe just to like make sure it's still there and still in good condition, ready to go for the fall. But thought that was interesting. He said hiking on the AT is the fastest way to get there. But nice morning so far. The sun's out. Had a little steep section already for just about half a mile. Wasn't too long. And now we're just gonna be going gradually up for the next few miles. Nice little view here down into some flatland below, and currently going over the top of Big Butt. Not sure why it's called that, but I'm just telling you guys the name of this mountain. So hasn't been too bad of a climb, been pretty gradual over the last few miles, and after that we'll have a little bit of down and hopefully some more views a little bit later on. Walking along a little ridge here, just below 4,500 feet, and some nice views and some rockier terrain, but nothing we haven't dealt with before. Looks like another little view right up here. It's about 10 a.m. now. So, you can see a little bit over the top there. Got just about 2-ish hours to the little Laurel shelter where I'm planning to stop for my midday break, and then it'll be a little bit less than 9 miles from there to camp for the night. Pretty neat view over this side. Kind of a pretty flat area down below there, and still some nice views of the mountains on this side. So it's about 12:30 right now, and I just stopped at the little Laurel shelter just a few minutes before 12 o'clock for a little lunch break. And unfortunately there wasn't any water there, so couldn't fill up, but I still have close to a liter left, and pretty nice trail here going down about 4.5 more miles to Allen Gap. And then after that I have under 4 miles to the shelter for the night, but there's a lot of climbing in there in those 4 miles, and I think some of it's pretty steep. So I should probably fill up on water before I get to the shelter, but I don't know if I will. I think there's a creek at Allen Gap that's like a quarter mile off the trail, and I don't really want to stop there just because I'm lazy, I guess, but I definitely should, because I still have more than 3 hours, or about 3 hours, probably a little more than 3 hours till I get to camp, and only 1 liter of water, or less than a liter over that time, is not ideal. So I'll still get to camp plenty early, so I'll probably make myself stop and fill up on water at that point. But the miles have been going well today. The only difficult section, or tricky section per se, so far has been going over that ridge with those rocks and views, and it wasn't hard in the sense that it was super strenuous. It was just like tricky rocks that made me slower and had to pay closer attention. So hasn't been too bad, like I said, but I think there'll be some tough climbing the last few miles of the day. It's about 2:15 now, and still about half mile to go till I get to Allen Gap. I did stop though a little bit less than half an hour ago. Well, I stopped more than half an hour ago, around 1:30, and I stopped at the Southern Cookie Lady's house, which I didn't know existed, but I saw a sign, and it didn't say how far away it was, but there was a house that looked pretty close by, so I went over there, and sure enough, that was the Southern Cookie Lady. So I filled up some water there, which was awesome. She had water, and it was a husband and wife, and got some cookies and talked to them for a little bit. So that was an awesome experience. Didn't know there was a Southern Cookie Lady. I think she's newer. They actually used to live for most of their lives in Northeast Ohio, less than 45 minutes from where I grew up, and they just moved down here in the last 3 years or so, and their house is literally a 1/10 of a mile off the trail. So pretty cool thing she's starting up as the Southern Cookie Lady, and definitely enjoyed talking to them and enjoying some cookies. Heading up the last few miles out of Allen Gap to the campsite, and only a mile and a half after stopping at the Southern Cookie Lady, when I got to the road at Allen Gap, I came upon the trail angel emoji again, and she yelled out, and I walked over to her car and hung out for a little bit again and got some more food and drink from her. So really enjoyed that, and good to see her and talk to her again. She is a super nice person. So some more delays this afternoon, but that's totally fine. I should still make it to camp before 4:30, which is still plenty early enough. It's about 3:15 now, and I have less than 3 miles to go. And I've already climbed somewhere between 500 and 1,000 feet, so I think I have a little bit more than 1,000 feet left to go in a nice little flatter section here, but gonna have some steep again. So I'm at the Spring Mountain shelter here, and just cooked up my dinner and ate that, and moving on kind of to dessert now. And I wanted to show the ice cream sandwich that my uncle bought and sent a few of. So it's basically just a freeze-dried ice cream sandwich. It's like crunchy, and tastes pretty decent. And then got these brownie bites here which are just little like pebble type things that are kind of crunchy, so those are pretty good as well. So yeah, I'm gonna eat some of these goodies and then get all my food packed up and head down the trail just a little bit. There should be some bear cables I can hang my food on in the tent for the night, and it has been definitely hotter today, so it is a little hot or warm still in the tent, but it's kind of buggy out, at least at this shelter. There's a lot of flies going around and some mosquitoes as well, so figured I'd rather be in the tent even if I'm a little warm than out there in the bugs. It's definitely cooling down some, so I'm sure in a little bit more it won't be too warm at all. But did 22.6 miles today, and I'm at the Spring Mountain Shelter, which is at mile 1911.2. So crossed the 1900 mile mark today, and less than 300 miles to go till I reach Springer Mountain. And in terms of history from 1911, there's nothing really notable I can think of. I feel like there is something that happened that I should know about, but can't really think of anything. I do know that William Howard Taft was the president at the time, who was the 27th president. But aside from that, I can't really think of much else. He was the only president to also serve as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. I believe he held that role after his presidency. And there's a rumor or a legend, at least, which I'm pretty sure is true as well, that he got stuck in the bathtub at the White House and had to call the firefighters or somehow get the firefighters to come to get him out. So not sure if some of that or all of that is true. I believe it is, but that's another interesting fact as well. He was definitely more of a round person. So solid day today. Shorter day tomorrow. I'm going to do 11 miles into Hot Springs and then meet up with some relatives, and then I'm just going to have a few miles, I think 3 or 4 miles after Hot Springs to the place I'm camping tomorrow night. So I think it's less than 15 miles total for the day.